You've done a fermentation and you've got some wash and you want to strip it down, but you're not sure how to do it. Let me go show you. Hey everyone, Distiller Greyling, one of your favorite home and hobby distillers. Yes, today we are tackling these two. These are the two fermentations we did. You can check out the previous video. And we will be doing a stripping run today. So first of all, this is the Turbo Yeast. You can still see very light in color. And then we got the tomato paste or the tomato paste wash or the baker's yeast that we tried. You can still see it's a little bit reddish in color. So they've been standing now for about 2 weeks. Only got time to distill today. So we will definitely distill them and check it. I have seen that actually a lot of sediment has again dropped to the bottom. Actually there's like a thin layer lying there, so it's actually still good. It means that the wash itself is going to be very good. It had a lot of time now to strain or to rest and settle out, so it's very good. So coming back to today, we are doing a stripping run. So this will be my first stripping run 2.0, as I did stripping run long ago, more than 2 years ago. So this is actually very nice to do it again. I've grown a bit, got a few different techniques that I'm doing, and also it's for me to kind of remember again everything. Like I said, it's been 2 years since I have distilled, so I'm still making a few blunders and I'm still getting into everything. Even when I do my readings on my triple scale hydrometer, I get it so I get the accurate reading, I see it, but when I actually convey it over, it's so messed up. So I need to learn myself to read the things more accurately, get all these things written down like I always do. So it definitely helps a lot. That's also why I do write down, and as I can explain to you guys, I can just go over my notes. I'm also sure that I'm saying the right things to you guys as well. All right, yes, so we got the 2 sugar washers. I've only got my 13 liters still. So we're sitting here with 20 liters on, well, about 20 and 19 liters of wash. But the point is, I've got a 13 liter still. So obviously I can't put 20 liters into 13 liters. I have to split it up. So my idea is going to be I'm going to split both the washes into 2, have 10 liters, and they're 10 liters as well. So it's going to be 4 runs in total for the day. So obviously I will split the first one, do the run, have a second batch, do the run, add those 2 together, and then I'll start the second one and do exactly the same. We will also treat it, yes, as the first stripping runs. So it's just going to be fast and rough alcohol extraction. It's not going to be any cuts or any small cups that we're going to taste. No, we're just going to run the induction plate as hot as we can, run it on pot still mode. So it's just going to be the boiler and limbic head bent down. I might add a few components just to get my height right for capturing at the bottom. I was looking at my 180 degree bend is fairly fixed, so it only can come down. So then I have to lift my still on the boiler side to be able to use my parrot on the bottom of the other side. So I have seen that some of the guys has, instead of one solid 180 degree bend, they have 2 90 degree bends that they can actually then swivel. So you will have your first bend come up, and instead of just having your bend going down, you can actually swivel it a bit so that it can go skew down. And then you can also save a little bit on components and have your catch, wherever you catch it in a jar or wherever you catch it, you can actually make a plan and kind of manipulate as well. So I did like that as well. All right, so definitely we are gonna check what happens regarding smell, output, the differences. We're gonna take everything between the 2. How the stripping run is going to affect both of these guys. So to come back, let's say, what is the purpose of a stripping run? All right, so first of all, like I said, it's about alcohol extraction. Is you got to wash, and like me at this moment, I do not really have a lot of space to keep things. So yes, I did bought these 2 containers to keep the 2 wash in, but if I don't have these and I've got a lot of other containers, it's good to do a stripping run to lower your volume. So you strip it down, you only extract the alcohol that's in there. Then also, stripping run is also when you do, let's say you're in a type of a commercial setting and you've just done a 400 liter fermentation, but you only got a 200 liter still, you also want to strip down that 400 liter, almost the same. You're going to split it into 200s, run 2 stripping runs. After the 2 stripping runs, you will add both your yield that you add it together. It will definitely be lower than the 200, and then you can do your rectifying run. All right. So so what's also going to happen is when we do distill from a wash and we do a stripping run, we then collect what they call low wines. You will hear a lot, especially here in the Western Cape area where there is a lot of brandy distilleries. You will hear low wines quite a lot. So low wines is what you'll get from a stripping run, especially when you have not done any cuts. You are just extracting the alcohol as best as you can. And then from the low wines, we will then run a distill again, a spirit run or a rectifying run, where we will then do our cuts, make sure we got our product nice, and then get that final product as well. So no needs to cut. So it's almost like if you have like a visual representation, we'll have a wash, then we'll have a stripping run that will give our low wines. From our low wines, we'll do a spirit run or rectifying run, and then we'll have our final product. And that's the guy that we want. All right, so I was talking about calculations. When we did the straining of the fermentation, I said that I'm going to do a little bit of calculations. So I went back to some of my old notes and some of my Excel spreadsheets that I have, and I got to my old potential alcohol calculation. So basically what it is, it's total potential alcohol is equal to your sugar divided by 17 times your volume. Now to give you guys an idea, so obviously the total potential alcohol is measured in percent ABV, sugar is measured in grams, and volume is measured in liters, and 17 is the constant. So it's the conversion factor derived from how much sugar products produces 1% ABV in 1 liter of liquid. So it's almost like it takes 17 grams of sugar per liter of liquid to make 1% of ABV. So that's how they get to the 17 constant. All right. Now, in order for us to get that sugar in grams, we have to use our Brix readings that we measured. It's not about the sugar that we added. Remember, the goal is for fermentation to convert all the sugars into alcohol, but that doesn't necessarily always happen. So you can't say, all right, yes, I added 6.25 kg, so that's my amount of sugar, this is my yield. We have to measure what was your sugar before you started fermenting, and then what's your sugar content after fermenting. So that's the Brix readings that we did. Now, if I go back, we need to now convert the Brix to sugar for us to use it in our total potential alcohol calculation. So from here, we can go back. So sugar is equal to Brix times volume times 10, where Brix is the total percent of sugar by weight, volume is volume in liters, and 10 is the constant. That's the converts from grams per 100 to grams per liter. That's just a conversion factor or a constant. All right. All of this comes from the chemistry of fermentation, where yeast converts sugar into ethanol and produces CO2. So we say that about 51% of the sugar mass becomes alcohol. So it's also good something to know. So you can also see that how much of your sugar actually did convert to alcohol. And you can also know, yes, I did a very great fermentation, or no, my fermentation was not that good at all. All right, so that's all the calculations explained, but let's start to do the calculations. All right, so what I do have is I had my starting Brix on both fermentations was at 30 Brix. Quite high. I was actually a little bit skeptical about the highness of that the yeast might not tolerate it, but we did all right. Like I said, the baker's yeast didn't perform that well, but like I said, I've never done it before, so I don't have really a type of what do you say, a constant or a, yeah, I've got my word again, but yes, I didn't have anything to really measure it against. Turbo yeast I have done, so on some of my old notes the Brix was a bit lower, so that's why I was a bit skeptical about being it so high, but it's okay. Starting Brix on both with 30. The tomato paste wash end Brix was at 7.5. So that gives us a difference from that 30 minus 7.5 gives us a total bricks of 22.5. And then on the turbo yeast, we had an end bricks of 1.5. So then 30 minus 1.5, we get 28.5 bricks. All right, so now we need to convert both of them to sugar. So obviously for tomato paste, we'll have that sugar equals to bricks times volume times 10. So 22.5 times 20 times 10, we get to 4,500 grams. And then on this guy, we do the same, but with the 28.5, we get to 5,700 grams. All right, but that doesn't tell us much, but we need to get those two back into our total potential alcohol calculation. So for that, we're gonna say then sugar is equals to, total potential alcohol is equal to sugar divided by 17 times volume. So we take first this one, the tomato paste. We had that 4,500 grams divided by 17 times 20. I've decided to take 20, even though it might be 19, but it's just to get me that potential, that average. Obviously, we can redo the calculations when I do measure it out precisely, but it's not going to make that much of a difference. All right, so we're going to take 20 as our volume. So 4,500 divided by 17 times 20, we get to a total potential alcohol of 13.2 ABV for the tomato paste. So that's not too bad. I'm quite happy with that one. Then for the turbo yeast, we take that 5,700 grams divided by 17 times 20, we get to 16.8% ABV. So it's actually going to be quite interesting if we do distill it to see actually how much we do get out. So I definitely feel that turbo yeast, you will get a much better yield out. So that's why I like to use turbo yeast. And you can have a smoother run because it tends to ferment faster. You tend to maybe have a little bit harsher taste on it, and you will just maybe high reflux distill it out to just to extract all the alcohol, and then maybe use that alcohol for vodka or a gin or whatever. But if you do want that little bit of a sugar taste, you can then just lower your temperature of your fermentation, and your turbo yeast will then ferment a little bit longer to give you a little bit of a smoother taste. This guy might have a very nice and smooth taste, but then your yield is not as much. So it's that balance you have to get at the end of the day. All right, so let's go to setup and safety checks. All right, so I'm gonna do a pot still. As I said, I'm gonna use my boiler and a limbic head, 180-degree bend, come down to condenser and the parrot, and I just might increase the top a little bit just to get that height for my parrot to capture. I will also make sure that all my cooling connections are nice and secured on the condenser before I start up my still. I will also make sure that this, as I set up my still, because it's modular, I'll have all my different sections, make sure they're sealed and good and ready to go. Also remember not to seal off your still completely. Where I do capture at the parrot, do not close there, as it is a boiler, it will build up pressure. So you want to have that area at the end where the pressure can release. So don't close up your still completely, please. And then also for distillation, make sure we're a well ventilated area. So I've got the glass slide door right here. I'm going to keep it open to have that fresh air going through. I've got a window open there from the kitchen side, so there will definitely be a nice draft that's going to go through. It is a little bit cloudy today. Yes, it's actually a good day to distill because everything will be nice and cool. I'm quite happy for that. I will have the cooling water going back outside into the tank. I've got a longer hose that I'm actually taking into the tank at the back. Have not gotten my pump for circulation yet, but we'll probably get there. All right, and then obviously as you start to distill, don't leave your still unattended. Sometimes something can go wrong and you don't know. You're busy somewhere doing something else, and maybe the wind has blown over your jar and now all your product is getting spilled over the floor, or you maybe sprung a leak somewhere, you're not sure. And I'm fortunate enough to have electrical induction plate, but maybe you've got an open flame and your distillate will go to the open flame and then catch a light. So always make sure when you do distillate, stay close to your still, don't leave it unattended. Treat it as a child. You know, my mom always told me not to wander off too much, so don't wander off too much on your still. Keep an eye on it, make sure that it is good. All right, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna get everything ready. Like I said, I'm gonna start to split these guys up, get the still ready. I'm gonna distill right here next to the table, and then I'll chat to you guys again. Alright guys, we are back and set up. So gonna switch on the induction stove. Gonna go for a max temperature, yes, max watt. Gonna go for 2000 watts immediately. Got my cooling water open. Somehow the way where this nipple is screwed in is leaking a bit, and it's strange because it's never been leaking before. So now I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I will keep an eye on it. Maybe as soon as it heats up, it will actually then start to seal as the temperature or the metal will expand. So we'll keep an eye on it. So we got about 25 degrees and 20 degrees there. Let me just write it for interest's sake. So just got about still zero. So boiler's 25 degrees Celsius, and we got about 20 degrees Celsius on the top. Obviously nothing yet. So I will let it run on a stripping run, fast and dirty. Yes, hot and ready. So it will definitely heat up and see how it goes. We will expect to see the boiler heat up quite some time. You can expect anything from 30 minutes to 50 minutes, depending on what your setup is. Like I said, I've got a 2000 watt induction stove in the boiler with 13 liters of water at about 25 degrees Celsius. I did heat it up a little bit on the stove just to get it going. So you might have a larger boiler, then it will take a bit longer, or you might have better elements inside that will actually heat up faster as well, or you might just have a gas burner that also heats up nice and quickly. So like I said, stripping run, you want that heat, you want it going, so that is nice. What else can we see? We will wait. Definitely, like I said, it is a stripping run. We're not going to do any cuts, but it will still run through the normal paces as a normal run. You will have your first bit of liquids that come out that will have that harsh acetone solvent type of smell. That's going to be your heads. That's what we would normally throw away, but as it's a stripping run, we were not going to throw it away. We're just going to take it through the still. We will tend to get to a stage where it is a smooth, sweet smell. That's the ethanol what we want. That's our hearts. That's our main body. That's where the good stuff is. And then when you get to the end, you'll get that wet dog, wet cardboard type of smell. That's your tails. Also, don't worry about that tails. As I said, this is a stripping run. You're just going to run it until a certain stage. We are aiming today for a 10% ABV. So I'm going to distill until I get 10% ABV on my parrot, and then I will stop it. There might still be some alcohol left in the boiler, but I'm not too worried about it. That's not my idea. It's about for taste for me, and previously I saw that if I distilled about a 10% ABV, then it's still good. Anything lower than that, I really get bad taste, and I don't want that. So guys, yes, I'm gonna let it heat. You might see me here and there, but for now, I will, as soon as we start to get our first drips, I will make a quick video again, and then obviously I will just do a last bit of run to say that we are stopping it. And then for the other 3 runs, because you guys will see now that I did the tomato paste, the baker's yeast now, 10 liters are in the boiler. So I will then, after this one, finish up with the baker's yeast, and then I'll do the turbo yeast, but I'm not going to put everything on. I will then just at the end have a quick recap to say, all right, we've distilled that one, this is what we got, distilled that one that we got, have a short discussion about it, and then that will be it. So for now, letting the still run and heat up, have a look at this leak that's there, just what's going on, and I hope to see you guys again. Cheers. Hey everyone, right, so we're getting to that turning point where I can see my heat is about just over 65 degrees Celsius, so roughly about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I normally know around 72 degrees Celsius, that's where vapor will start to pass through, and I will definitely see that my top temperature will almost be like a ref counter, it will like immediately start to pick up. It has slowly increased from 20 degrees till about 30 degrees Celsius at this moment. We're about 35 minutes into the run at this moment. It's been heating up slowly and constantly. You would see that you don't see really anything, and then all of a sudden it starts to really heat up nicely. So I'm at that point where it's now, you're starting to see more activity as you're going along. I mean, I can already see it's now starting to go to 35 degrees Celsius on the top one, so definitely still is getting active. Yes, we're at that 70 degrees Celsius mark, so definitely we will start to see that our top temperature will start to increase, showing me that alcohol vapors is now starting to pass through. Still, well, it's warmer than it was this morning. It's getting there. I will just pinch open a little bit on my cooling water as well, just to make sure that there is cooling water going through. This leak has stopped, so but I will still monitor it just to make sure that it doesn't get too hectic. I've got my parrot in. I'm capturing in my plastic food safe jug just for measuring purposes, so I can see how much I do capture, and then I will add it to one of my glass jars. I think I'll go with the big one today, as I'm not 100% sure how much is it going to be, so I will add it to the big one as we go along, and then yeah, we'll see how it goes. Obviously now I can't see yet if something is going into the parrot. We will see if the hydrometer starts to bubble around, but temperatures are picking up very nicely. Still checking my time every now and again. You can hear my cooling water is now flowing into my bucket, so that is good. Let me just check what is the flow rate. Yeah, flow rate is good, it's not too bad. I just want a slow flow rate at this moment, as I know there's not a lot of vapors yet passing through. Then we will also look at the rate. I've seen, especially with my induction plate and my setup as it has it now, the flow rate is not as high as I would like it to be. I remember using my 100 liter still and using the 4 kilowatt element, you tend to have a much faster run. You almost see a nice constant flow coming out. There's a constant flow that comes out, but the flow rate is very little. So for a stripping run, you actually want to see how fast you can run it. So it's actually better to have a higher heat source and a bigger condenser to able to heat up your product much quicker, and allowing that big condenser to cool it down as well, because you don't want any vapors passing through as well. So for me and myself, I'm happy at my setup. Home and hobby distilling is 100% fine. If you want to do yield and constant product yield going forward, whatever you want to do with it, you might tend to look at a better setup, more heat and bigger condenser. But like I said, this for me is 100% fine. I'm very happy with it. As I said, this is my small product development, still experimental, still I really love it, really love the versatility of it. So let's quickly have a look. Now, time is not there yet. I'm trying to take readings every 5 minutes and comparing it to my runs that I did years ago. I see that one says, let me just check, 2021, May 2021 was some of my first stripping runs, also on a sugar wash. So I'm trying to compare it. Strange enough, it's going a little bit faster here. I think it's probably got to do with the altitude, that we are much lower near sea level and not as high up in Gauteng. But yes, it is interesting. So let me quickly run through my readings again. So at this moment, yeah, we got about 81 degrees Celsius here, and we got a 71 degrees Celsius on the top one. So let's just hold this one out. I don't maybe a little bit is accumulating, but yeah, we'll still give it a chance. Obviously, yeah, it's getting nice and hot, so it tells me it is definitely starting to work. So now we will start to get level. Yeah, there it comes, right at the bottom. I can still start to see it. So yeah, I can still feel there's a little bit of level. So it will just come out now, slowly but certain, and we will definitely have a look at the rate it comes out. And like I said, my aim today is to go for a 10 ABV at the end, then I'll call my run quits. What else do I have here? Alright, so yes, we will look at the rate of flow, and we want the condenser water open, you know, not too much. You don't want to waste water, especially like me, that I'm still using municipal water. And then you also don't want it too cold, so if you can feel this, it's still nice and cool, still fairly, then you can say yes, you know, tweak a little bit. But so far it's doing very well. I'm still happy with that. Then I do get a little bit of a smell that comes out, but it might just be some of the harsh vapors that it's not condensing and it's coming out of the surge arrestor, but I'm fine with that. We will also, like I said, get a sharper smell with the first ones that comes out, but we're not going to throw away the heads today. We're just going to do the stripping run that is. And also, if your wash or if your distillates do look a little bit cloudy, don't worry. It tends to happen in a stripping run. Not always, but it does happen. So if your distillate comes out and looks a little bit cloudy, don't worry. In your spirit run or your rectifying run, we will then rectify that cloudiness. So stripping run is just to extract that alcohol out of your wash. All right. I can see now it's about here, and it's just want to get it to overflow, because I actually want to see what is the percentage ABV that comes out there. That's going to be my interesting go-to. So it's getting there. Trying to see where it's bubbling. Look like below 80% ABV. So let's just see. It's coming. It's coming. Let me just get a better angle. Alright, it's about 75. Alright, so first drips. Okay, so we're sitting at 89 degrees Celsius there, and 88 degrees Celsius there, and we had a 75%. Alright, that's cool, and that is it. I can see the flow is coming, and it's coming out of the parrot and then falling directly down. You actually want to see that your flow actually pushes a little bit forward and then drops down. But like I said, I know this is my setup and this is the rate I get out of my setup, so I'm used to it, so I'm fine with that. I can also get that smell definitely coming out. Still a little bit of harsh solvent type of smell, so it is okay, but we'll run it. I will capture, say, about 2.5 liters in my jug and then pour it over, and I will keep on putting 2.5 until the run is over. So I think that's it for now. Again, I'm just going to let it run, and then I will let you guys know as soon as we are done. Well, I can definitely see it's going up to 70, 71, 72 degrees ABV, so it does show me that there is some water stripping as well, but I'm also getting that alcohol out, and that's what we want. Alright, chat again, guys. Hey everyone. Alright, so interesting enough, I have it about at 20% ABV in the parrot, and I can really start to taste that. Now it's really not getting nice anymore. You're starting to really get that wet dark cardboard taste, and I'm thinking to myself that I'm not even going to let it run to 10%. This 20% ABV, I am quite happy. I'm actually just going to stop it, just going to let it cool down a while. I mean, it reached 98 degrees Celsius here on top, so it actually shows me that there's a lot of water now also starting to come through, so I'm quite happy at this stage. So 20% ABV, I'm happy. I've got about almost 2.5 liters, 2,500 mils. So I'm just going to transport it to one of my glass jars and then just leave it on the table. Then I'll take the rest of the tomato paste wash. I already measured that. That's about 8.5 liters. So it means that from my 20-liter wash, I got 18.5 liters of usable after I strained out the dead yeast. So yes, we added 10 liters in here and we did the run. I'm going to put that 8.5 liters now in the boiler. Obviously throw out what's in here, but then put the 8.5 liters in and then run exactly as it is. After that, I will then do the turbo yeast as well. I already have it there in the kitchen ready to split the volume, and then also do twice or 2 runs. So at the end of the day, we will definitely check where it ends up, and then I'll come back to the table and then I'll do all the results so it can show exactly how the run goes. So yes, just cooling it down, drain the parrot and then drain the boiler, give a quick rinse through everything, add the 8.5 liters and then we'll run again. Thanks. Alright, we are back on the thinking space. Alright, so all 4 runs are done. It's quite a long day. I can feel either I'm getting old or I'm just not used to moving around so a lot. I'm not sure. But in any case, so to get a quick recap, so let me get to results. So I've got tomato paste wash with baker's yeast on that side. I got, in the end, it was 18.5 liters of wash at a total potential alcohol of 13.2. Like I said, that's from the calculations, but I'm also not always so 100% sure if it's correct. But in the end of the day, I got 4.5 liters at 50% ABV, so I'm quite happy at that. So that is my stripping run for the tomato paste wash. For the turbo yeast, there was 20 liters of wash actually. So it means that I've actually fermented a little bit more than the 20 liters, but that's okay. With a total potential alcohol of 16.8 that I also still don't trust. But at the end of the day, I distilled 5.15 liters or 5,150 milliliters of wash at 54% ABV. So definitely you can see it gives me a lot more yield, a lot more product and also a lot more yield. To give you guys a comparison, if you convert this to absolute alcohol, you get about 2,250 against 2,781 milliliters. So definitely I'm getting more yield from the turbo yeast. Not just the fact that it's 1.5 liters more, but also as I knew from the fermentation that this has fermented better than the tomato paste wash. All right, so from all of that, what I can say already is that turbo yeast will have probably a bit more punch, but on the smell, the baker's yeast did smell a little bit smoother. So it's going to be interesting to do the spirit runs to see how these two then react with one another or how the taste comparison is going to be. So next video that I will do for both will then be the stripping run. As the volumes are quite low, that it's going to be easy to do the spirit runs for both of them, so I'm going to be quite happy. Strange enough, both my washes came out very clear, but it also shows that the setup that I have is, I'll not say potent enough. It does a job as I would like it to do, but you can run it faster, more heat, so then you will probably get a more cloudy wash. If your wash does come out cloudy, don't worry, you will rectify it in the spirit run. So that is it. Yes, I think next up we'll do the spirit runs for these two and then see how they taste. I hope you guys have enjoyed my stripping runs on the 2 sugar washes that we did. And as always, be awesome, be kind, and be yourself. Cheers.